Hi, now that the puppets are painted, we're almost finished making the puppets. Today we're going to put them together. Don't forget to put that little white sparkle in the eye. That'll really bring it to life. So, what you're going to need today is this little bit of bicycle inner tube that was included in your package. There's one that's already cut that looks like this, and then you'll have a couple of big pieces like this. You'll also need a nail, which we've included, which we're going to use as a pokey tool to poke a hole, and your scissors. So the first step is to put together the pieces of the arms, and you're going to do that by finding the place where they overlap, right? And using your nail to poke a hole. Be careful, don't poke a hole too close to the edge. That will be liable to rip. Keep the hole like, a good half inch or so from the edge. And you just go ahead and poke the nail through both pieces so you find the right spot. And if you're having trouble poking it through, you can ask an adult to help. You could use a nail to help pound it through, although I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think you can poke it right through. And you'll get a little hole. And it's important that you just have a nice little hole like that. That's why please don't try and use like the end of a scissors to poke a hole, because the hole will be too big. Use that pokey tool. And then look at how this little piece of bicycle inner tube is cut to a point. That's what you're going to want to do, is make some more of those. And so you'll take the bigger piece, you'll cut a strip, a thin strip, and it's very important to make one side pointy like that, because that little pointy side is going to be the one that you'll be able to poke through the little hole. So before you do that, take your little strip and tie a knot in the end that you didn't sharpen. You tie a knot like that, and I like to make it a double knot to just make that, because basically what we're using this for is to hold those joints together, and if with a double knot it'll be a little bit bigger and less likely to slip through that small hole. So it'll look like this. Then you're going to poke that pointy part through that hole, and the pointy bit will stick out the other side, and then you use your fingertips to pull it through. And then you do the same thing with the other side. You pull it through, and then make a knot on the other side. And you're going to want your knot to be snug against the puppet, but not too tight so that it restricts movement too much, but And again, I'm going to make it a double knot. Okay, and use my scissors to trim the end, and now you've got an arm that works. Now, you'll go ahead and do the same thing with the other arm and both legs, right? And when you've got all those put together, we'll attach those. Now the shoulders, you'll find one place on the body where that seems like the right spot for them, And I would make just one hole through both shoulders. Don't put them in two separate places. So you find your place and poke it through so that it goes through all three pieces, both arms and the body. And then you go ahead and tie that on the same way with your rubber tie by poking it through the hole. And the legs, I'll do a little bit differently. I think I'll space them a little bit. So one of them is on one side. Let's see, can you see that? One's on one side like that, and the other's on the other side like that. So they've got a little space, and can you see that? And one's on one side and one's on the other side. And the same thing, you poke your hole and tie it on. When you're done, your puppet should look something like this, right? The legs move, the arms both move, the arms are connected at that one point and the legs are connected at 2 points. And your puppet is done. Hooray! I'll be back with one more video about making props and things, and then all the puppet making will be done, and we'll move on to thinking about how we can perform with the puppets. See you soon.